Actually, he's going to be switching that money to another project. Good evening. Welcome to the Town of Clifton Park Town Board meeting of November 1st. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Teresa, if you'll call the roll.
Councilwoman Flood. Here. Councilwoman Standhart. Here. Excuse me. Councilman Morelli.
Here.
Councilwoman Holloway. Here. Supervisor Barrett.
Here.
The 12th and the 18th.
Right. And entertain a motion to approve town board meeting minutes of the 12th and 18th.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Ms. Wallowitz, second by Mrs. Standout. Discussion. Okay, Teresa.
Councilwoman Flood.
Yes.
Councilwoman Standhart.
Yes.
Councilman Morelli.
Yes.
Councilwoman Holloway. Yes. Supervisor Barrett.
Yes. Just a couple of quick communications and announcements. We have a full room here tonight, so we want to get right to it. But just want to thank everybody that had a hand in making our trunk or treat event on Friday so successful. We've enjoyed a partnership with Star Point Church for a number of years, and we always get a good crowd. And then we did one around Easter time. We did an extravaganza, similar setup, and that received a little better response than even our Halloween events. And boy, this past Friday was off the charts. Largest crowd by far that we've ever had for trunk or treat or anything similar. It looked like July 4th there for a little bit, but we did not run out of candy. That was huge. And again, just want to thank Star Point Church and everybody. We had about 45 or so vehicles set up, stations that the kids could visit. So once they got there, if they had to wait in line, once they got there, it was well worth the wait, I think. So a lot of happy folks. We just recently had a Pfizer booster clinic, vaccination clinic for eligible folks. And when we set that date with with public health up at the county, the only booster that was approved at that time was Pfizer. But we're going to have a Moderna booster clinic in the near future. Um, we're working on November prior to the holiday. I can't give an exact date yet because I'm not sure exactly what day it'll be. We're looking at the hopefully on the 19th, but until we get that solidified, we won't be posting that information. So if anybody is interested in receiving the Moderna booster and you're in the eligible categories, just watch for our website or social media, and we will post that information as soon as we have it solidified with Saratoga County. Any other communications or announcements at this time?
I just want to remind everybody real quick at the Grooms Tavern this Sunday from 2 to 4 is the Saratoga County Stories, the collection of local historians. So that'll be at the Grooms Tavern.
Very good. And that is a nice event. And I know there's some people that have said, gee, I've never been in the tavern. I'd like to get there. Well, we do have quite a few events during the year. So, you know, if you can, stop on by and take a look around because it's definitely worth your time. We do have 3 public hearings tonight, but in the interest of time, for the folks that are here for other reasons. Of course, you're more than welcome to stay for the entire meeting. We're not going to throw you out of here, but I know you're here for other reasons. So why don't we get right to that again. And the reason many of you are here is for the Town's Community Action Fund and the program now in its 3rd year has been very successful. We're approaching $50,000 that we've been able to grant to many recipients, dozens at this point. All the money, I'm sure all of you know this already, but all the money for the program comes from donations of redeemable bottles and cans that people donate at the transfer station. If you're not familiar where you can donate, if you drive in the transfer station, you stay to the right. That'll take you into the recycling area. And as you drive down the hill into the recycling area on your left, you'll see 2 receptacles. They look like small sheds. That's where you can make the donations. And each year, we post a placard with the list of all the recipients so people know, well, at least I can see where my donations are going, and they can see it's a real program and say, wow, I'm really making a difference by just donating a few nickels here and there to the town's program. So it's just another great opportunity to support people in our community, and we're proud to do so as a town, and we just hope that this program continues for many years. So if you missed this year, we started the program early in the year, a few years ago, and gave some time for the application process. So we'll have a new application out in 2022, probably in the 2nd quarter of the year. So if you so start thinking now, and if you want to apply for some funds, we'd love to have you up here either again next year or maybe next year for the first time. So without further ado, we'll get right to it. And we have a lot of folks here today. I think there's somebody here for every award. At least I think so. So I'm just gonna say who the recipient is, the dollar amount, what the funds are used for, and then I have some names of folks that were contacts. Please come on up. I'll give you your award, and like I said, you can stay for the public hearings tonight. I'm good. It always generates a laugh. I'm not sure why. I do want to thank our committee for the last few years, Councilwoman Wallerwood, Matt Grattan, Alicia Jacobs, Janine Micah, Greg Cesny. I want to thank them for volunteering their time to be a part of the committee that looks through the submissions and then makes decisions on the grants. All right, so without further ado, first up, Boy Scouts of America Troop 4006, an Eagle Scout project. Funds will be used to make trail improvements in the Dwaskill Nature Preserve. Nathan and Andrea Lala. Are they here? Thank you very much. We greatly appreciate your efforts to improve our parks. Ever since COVID occurred, our parks have received even more visitors than ever. So the fact that you're helping to improve our parks is very useful to many, many people. So thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, talk about challenges through the pandemic. We have the folks from Clifton Park and Half Moon EMS, Sue Sizdek and Alan Bell. Sue and Alan, come on up. Now, one thing that EMS and our first responders remind folks all the time to the best of their ability is always put the numbers on your mailbox in your house where they can see them. Because you can imagine it could be in the middle of the night, responding to a call, and some of these neighborhoods are a little tricky, right? As far as where the numbering goes, especially when you get down to the end of one street and go around the corner to the next. So they have proactively reminded and informed people how important it is to them, and the quicker they get to you, the better, obviously. So the funds will be used to purchase reflective house number sign kits to make house numbers more visible. So $199.50. But who's counting? Congratulations. Thank you. Next up, Friends of the Historic Grooms Tavern, $1,000. Funds will be used to continue the makeover of the second floor and support events at the tavern. If you do visit on the 7th, you can't go to the second floor. They did some really unique and creative things up there, and especially the guy that's sleeping up in that back room. He's looked better. So, little inside joke. Larry Sizdak and Brian McGlinchey. Oh, he was the banker. Thank you. Thank you. Now, when we have scouts that obviously are represented by an organization, such as the Elks and others, churches are also serve as sponsors. So the Elks are in here a few times, but they are also representing Eagle Scouts. So I want to thank them ahead of time for everything they're doing in the community. But next up is Clifton Park Elks Lodge 2466, $500. Funds will be used for the Elks Hoop Shoot event to purchase shirts and prizes to support the Veteran Scholarship and charity. Bill Tierney, Kevin Manel. All right, Bill, you're the money guy. Boy Scouts of America Troop 3083, $500. Funds will be used to replace worn equipment that is used to bring scouts camping. Brian Cooper. Brian Cooper? Come on up, sir. You have to make sure you're getting. This is your last camp out. Are you done for the year, or are you braving the cold?
No, we're braving the cold. Winter camping in December.
December.
Yes.
Fantastic. Can anybody go if you're not a scout?
We'll talk about it.
If anybody wants to go this December, talk to Brian. You know, unfortunately, for the first time, we had bad weather for an event that has turned into another very well-attended event, and one of the volunteers involved, Britt Gersey, submitted an application for Bump in the Night. So it had to be canceled this year. We'll be back in 2022, right?
Yes.
Funds will be used to purchase trick-or-treat items, Bump in the Night. Brett. By the way, the checks are paper clipped to the back of the certificate, so don't lose. Clifton Park Elks Lodge, 2466, Eagle Scout Project. Funds will be used to build a pollinator garden at Aranda Elementary. Ryan Gersey. Very good. Thank you, Ryan. Boy Scouts of America Troop 4006, Eagle Scout Project, $650. Funds will be used to build 2 chess tables and 4 benches to be located near the Senior Center. Christopher Strike. Chris. Thank you very much. I know the seniors are going to love those tables, and I think we have a great spot for them. Sunnyview Rehabilitation Hospital Foundation, $1,000. Funds will be used toward purchasing a radial pulse wave therapy equipment. Karen Newman and Edward Wolk. Come on up. Thank you so much. Clifton Park Tree Committee, $922. Funds will be used to fund Arbor Week 2022. Purchase of a tree, banner, refreshments for events, speaker, educational books for the Clifton Park Half Moon Library. Mark Marchand and Elisa Galaro. Come on up, please. Come on up.
Lori, David, Diana.
Difference, very good.
Yeah.
Kathy.
Kathy's
Here,
David, you stand over here. Yeah. Oh, Mark is over here.
Oh, Mark, over there.
Got both parts.
Big tree.
Sorry.
Look right over here. Great, thank you.
All right.
Congratulations.
Cub Scout Pack 4045, $1,000. Funds will be used to purchase and upgrade existing Scout B uniforms, Class B uniforms. Paul Shaw and a couple of scouts with you tonight.
Fortunately, they didn't say don't do homework.
That's all right. That's all right. They're ironing their uniforms.
Yes, that's it.
Thank you very much. Clifton Park Green Committee. Committee, $800. Funds will be used to purchase new Habitat for Humanity sign for transfer station, flyers to help inform residents about Healthy Lawn campaign, other signage for transfer station about recycling, and supplies for the July 4th parade. Kathy Bruma. Oh, Kathy. Have to be matched?
By the town.
Well, we'll start with the grant. You're up to a good start.
Good job, Abby.
Absolutely. Kathy's always a good salesman. All right. Who's next? Christ Community Reformed Church, $750. Funds will be used to help support the cost of barbecue, drinks, popcorn machine, tent, rental chairs, tables for the annual 5K run walk for the Clifton Park community. Thank you, gentlemen. Girl Scouts of Northeastern New York, Girl Scout Troop 2037, $1,000. Funds will be used to create a Clifton Park Pride celebration and events for spring 2022. Jen and Maddie Andrus and 2 Scouts. Thank you very much. Cub Scout Pack 4044, $1,000. Funds will be used to help with costs associated with scouting for food drive. In November 2021, supplies for spring community service projects, costs related to COVID-19, and camping equipment, Ryan Fava and David Dumbowitz. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, this group has done a lot in our community in a few short years, and they are a repeat recipient, so we welcome them here tonight. Shenandoah Neighbors Connecting, $1,000. Funds will be used to host an interactive health and wellness fair at the Senior Center in May 2022 to coincide with May is Older Americans Month. And Sandy Barley's here, or Nancy Barley, sorry. Loretta's here. Kim, very good. All right. You don't like Sandy?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. St. Peter's Hospital Foundation, Schuyler Ridge Residential Healthcare, $1,000. Funds will be used to build 4 to 5 raised garden beds for the residents to work with and enjoy. Mark Walker, is he here? Mark? Come on. If you can be in for a minute, you can take his place. Thank you very much. Boy Scouts of America Troop 4042, Eagle Scout Project, $600. Funds will be used to buy materials to build a new trail. It's already built, right? Yeah. Inside Garnsey Park, trail expansion, new park map and bridge at wetland area of the new trail. Matthew and Dan Bikey. We have a nice picture of you standing on the bridge.
Thank you.
So thank you so much. Were you, Councilman Morelli, you were down there today, weren't you? Taking a look at the trail?
Dwaz
Oh, the Dwaz Kill, okay, all right, okay. Clifton Park Elks Lodge, 2466, Eagle Scout Project, $1,000. Brandon Ross, and I think Ryan Jersey was going to pinch hit for him. All right, very good. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. And I didn't say what his project was because Brandon is changing the project. He's in the midst of that, and I'm working with him on that. So he'll have something for us very soon. He's planning to partner with the town for improvements to a park. So we welcome his partnership. AIM Services, $1,000. Funds will be used to contribute to a bathroom renovation in a residential home for 4 women with developmental disabilities to help them achieve a goal of independent living. Bo Gulliver. Bo? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
And last but not least, Girl Scouts of Northeastern New York, Girl Scout Troop 2058, $350. Funds will be used to buy supplemental personal care items to assemble toiletry kits for clients at Captain and Wells Spring. Daniel Sala, Jenny Sala, Sophia Spiegel, and Anna Adams. Thank you so much. Well, again, I want to thank everybody for everything you're doing in the community. You know, the night that we give out these certificates, I think it's just a wonderful advertisement for the town of Clifton Park. So many unsung heroes and people that are working each and every day in the community, making improvements, doing a great job. This might be the only time during the year that they're talked about publicly, and we're very, very honored that we have that chance. So again, thank you all very much, and we'll be back next year with a great program. Keep donating to the bottles and cans down at the transfer station. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Thank you.
You guys. Go ahead.
Secrets, thank you.
I mean, I'm adventurous, but.
Thanks, Kim. Bye, Dan. Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Like I said, we do have a few public hearings this evening. Teresa, would you read the legal notice as it appeared in the Gazette on the first one, please?
The Park County of Saratoga, State of New York, notice of public hearing regarding an amendment to Chapter 182 of the Town Code authorizing informational tax bill inserts. Please take notice that the town board of the Town of Clifton Park will conduct a public hearing on November 1st, 2021 at 7:07 p.m. in the Borough Meeting Room at the Town Hall Plaza, located in the Town of Clifton Park, County of Saratoga, State of New York, on a proposal to authorize the receiver of taxes to include general payment information, methods of payment, and sources of real property tax information as an insert within the annual real property tax bills. Copies of the proposal amendment to Chapter 182 of the Town Code are available at the cliftonpark.org website. and are available in the town clerk's office during normal business hours. And that was in the October 14th Daily Gazette.
Very good, thank you very much. With that, we'll open the hearing. Rose Savallo, our tax receiver, is here, and as people know, you can pay your county tax bill here at Town Hall, as you can at other municipal buildings throughout the county. And Rose, if you could just come up, please, for a second. And just come on up. I just want to, basically, the goal here is to provide some helpful information to the folks, and obviously the easiest way to do that is to include it with their tax bill. I'm sure most people do look at their bill fairly closely, so hopefully they'll read the insert too, right?
I've made it big enough so you can see it without glasses. So yes, I hope you will. And it'll be on bright paper so that you'll know that it's not the bill and it's not the usual mandate that accompany the bill, and then it's something different. So hopefully it will catch their attention as far as it being there and something different that they should look at. And it's going to, the first one, this is my first time being allowed to do this, will give all the basics, how you pay, where you pay, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. And going forward, hopefully if there's any special circumstances, we'll be able to provide that information in advance. Like with COVID, we weren't allowed to do it last year with COVID, to allow people to understand that they can still pay their bill without any problems. So this year, this is the first year, beginning this year, that we will provide you with as much information in advance so you don't panic and you don't go crazy that you can't get that bill paid, because I know a lot of you worry about that. So.
Yeah, I think the essence of what you've put forward for consideration is very good, helpful information. It's another place where people can get the information. So when they open up the envelope, this is something that's there, and it may reduce the number of questions that people have. And they'll hopefully get any questions they have answered right with this additional information. Anything else you'd like to add?
If you have any questions about the insert or any additional information you would like me to provide on an insert, like questions you might have that I didn't think about myself, please contact me. And the insert has not been officially prepared, obviously, until this is official. Mm-hmm. So I still have time to change it up or add to it if you have any additional information you think people might be interested in knowing, or questions you have yourself that come up every year and you maybe don't know where to get the answers. So just contact me here and I'll be happy to consider and put it in if I can.
Yeah, Rose's office is on site here, so 371-6651 is the main number, and you can contact her through that phone number. Very good, thank you. Appreciate it very much. So we'll open it up for comment. If there's anybody that would like to comment on this matter, please raise your hand. We'll ask that you state your name and address for the record, and please keep it to 5 minutes or less. If you'd like to see a copy of what is being proposed, that is available in the clerk's office. Anybody like to talk about this? Any comments from the board about this matter? Okay. All right, very good. So again, if you'd like to see a copy of it, please contact our town clerk, Teresa Brobson, and we'll close the public hearing. Teresa, if you could read the legal notice for the second public hearing, please.
Town of Clifton Park, County of Saratoga, State of New York, notice of public hearing regarding adoption of a tree ordinance. Please take notice that the town board of the town of Clifton Park will conduct a public hearing on November 1st, 2021 at 7:05 p.m. in the Wood Memorial Meeting Room in the town office building located at 1 Town Hall Plaza, Town of Clifton Park, County of Saratoga, State of New York, to consider adoption of a tree ordinance. The local ordinance is for preservation, maintenance, care, removal, and disposal of trees and shrubs on land and right-of-ways owned or maintained by the town. The ordinance is to enhance the town's natural environment through tree protection and sustainable tree plantings for the benefit of the town, Clifton Park's current residents and for those of the generations to come. Copies of the proposed tree ordinance are available at cliftonpark.org and are available for review in the town clerk's office during the normal business hours. And that was in the October 14th Daily Gazette.
Very good. Thank you very much. We'll open the public hearing. You want to, okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Supervisor. So this public hearing on the tree ordinance is just an opportunity for folks to learn a little bit about what we're doing as the tree committee. Tree committee is seeking Tree City USA designation from the Arbor Day Foundation, and we needed to meet 4 standards. This is the 4th one, having this tree ordinance passed. We have already served Arbor Day with an official resolution. We have also established the tree committee, and we have also met the 3rd standard, which is spending $2 per capita towards tree care. So again, this tree ordinance is the 4th standard that we need to meet in order to get that Tree City USA designation. Elisa Galaro and Diana Delper have been really spearheading this, and I would love to invite you both up to say a couple of words about this tree ordinance. You worked so hard on it, if you wouldn't mind.
I'm actually gonna, Mark has prepared something, so I think he'll.
Well then, Mark, you're up.
Double duty time. There you go.
First of all, I would like to publicly thank Councilwoman Amy Stander for her leadership, her energy in pushing this forward. It's a delight to live in a town that cares so much for its environment and through its leadership takes these kind of steps. And I just want to underscore that what we're all about is education and advisory, that what we'd like to do in seeking the Tree City designation is just gain recognition, certification, that we simply are a community that's concerned about its trees. And, you know, I've had a lot of questions. I gave a briefing to the Rotary this week. They were delighted to hear from us. And, you know, their concern, their only issue was, what's your official role? And I would just like to emphasize advisory, educational, and we're hoping to bring experts into the library. We're hoping to bring, you know, through the Arbor Day celebration in the spring, opportunities for families and others to learn more about something simple as how do you plant the tree? How do you do it right? And certainly it's an education for me. I am not a tree expert. I am more somebody who sees the value of it. And we look forward to working with Ian and others in the town on this. So.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Any
Well said.
Thank you. These folks have worked very hard on getting us to this point, so I thank you all for your help. You've really been tremendous in this entire process, so thank you.
Okay, very good. With that, we'll open it up for comment. If you'd like to speak on this matter, please raise your hand. We'll ask that you come forward, state your name and address for the record, and please keep it to 5 minutes or less. Does anybody that would like to speak on this matter? If you do want a copy of what is proposed, again, town clerk has that information available. Okay. Just one question as far as the maintenance and removal. We receive many calls, either my office or Dan Clemens gets them regularly, and that is trees that are on town property that might be a hazard, have become a hazard to private property, whether it's in the right of way along a street or could be on town property behind somebody's home. So in those instances, and, you know, some are emergency type situations, some aren't. Some we Dan has to do a quick bid process. Some we can do a regular bid process, but what would be the expected role of the tree committee in those instances?
So we've had several conversations with both Dan Clements from Buildings and Grounds and Dan Bolt from the Highways Department. And one of the things that the tree committee has learned in this process is that our town personnel cannot be prevented from handling emergency situations. And that's why we really spent a lot of time with this ordinance to make sure that no one would be prevented from doing their job for safety purposes. So there's nothing in this ordinance that would prevent Dan from doing their job, from keeping unsafe trees,
Right.
Taking care of how they need to do it. So they've both been fantastic to work with. So I thank you for your cooperation with the tree committee and your patience and helping us out. So the tree committee has done a fantastic job of understanding how things need to operate here so that we can serve our residents to the best of our ability, especially in emergency situations. So again, this is strictly an advisory committee and an educational piece for us to be able to move forward and help various departments when it comes to making decisions about tree care.
Yeah, there's one, just one section 6 that refers to that. Tree committee will advise and support the town on tree planting, maintenance, and removal on municipal property and rights of way.
Sure, if they
Yeah.
if they need help,
So that's,
and advice, yeah.
yeah, so it's a simple reference there. Yep.
8 also.
I'm sorry, Dave, go ahead.
Sorry, section 8 also.
Tree committee will report any identified nuisance trees that could pose a threat to free passage of pedestrians or vehicles on roads within the town of Clifton Park. Yep.
We're happy to fix those.
Very good.
Thank you.
Any comments from the board?
Sometimes it's good to
At
have
this
back
time?
too, when we say tree committee helped us out.
With that, we'll close the public hearing. I do want to thank everybody that's involved with the committee for your volunteerism. We have a third. Public hearing. Teresa, if you could read the legal notice.
Town of Clifton Park, County of Saratoga, State of New York, notice of public hearing on a proposed local law regarding amendments to section 10316 of the town code for the fee schedule for building permits for solar systems and equipment. Please take notice that the town board of the town of Clifton Park will conduct a public hearing on November 1st, 2021 at 7:09 p.m. in the Wood Memorial Meeting Room in the town office building located at 1 Town Hall Plaza, Town of Clifton Park, County of Saratoga, State of New York, to consider a proposed local law amending section 10316 relative to the review fee schedule for applications to construct and install solar systems and equipment within the town. The proposed legislation would maintain the town's current fee schedule of $75 for building permits for roof-mounted or building integrated solar systems, as well as any solar system up to 25 kilowatts of capacity as measured in the alternating current. For systems with a capacity above the 25 kilowatts AC, the building permit fees would follow the following schedules. PV energy systems, PV 1000 up to 50 kilowatts, plus $7 per kilowatt for 51 to 250 kilowatts, plus 5 per kilowatts for above for 251 kilowatts. Copies of the proposed local law are posted at cliftonpark.org and are available for the review of the town clerk's office during normal business hours, and that was in the October 21st edition of the Daily Gazette.
All right, thank you, Teresa. With that, we'll open the public hearing. We just completed a lengthy process of analyzing rules and regulations regarding solar projects. Made some adjustments to the rules and regulations. The matter of considering changes to the fees is a separate matter, and that's why we're considering this evening through a public hearing. I know Steve Myers and John Scavo have done some research to get to this point. Appreciate that. So Steve, I know the big reason for moving this for consideration is our fees were well below market by the time we went through the analyzing our solar regulations. Can you give us a little background on what this proposal will do as far as our fees are concerned?
Well, this proposal breaks it down a little bit so that you can, because the systems run all different sizes depending on where they are and, if they're commercial facilities and things like that. The fees that all the municipalities around us were charging were significantly larger than anything we were charging. We had some base fees, that's all we were using. And this new breakdown is based on the size of the system. And so it involves how much work it requires from us to when they install the system, how much work it requires on the ground for the company putting them in. And it's just a little more, and it's based strictly on the size of the system, which seems to be a fairly competent way to do it around the country. So it seems a little more reasonable for what's going on in town.
Okay. Yeah, it is a different way of calculating what the fee will be. The intention here is to maintain a low and reasonable fee for rooftop solar projects. It's not our intention to charge homeowners large fees for permits when they want to put a rooftop solar on their home. The fee changes are really geared toward large ground-mounted solar projects, and we've seen several of those in town. And I think now that the moratorium has ended and our regulations have been adjusted, I think you'll continue to see interest in ground-mounted solar projects in the town of Clifton Park, just as we've seen in area communities. Anything else you want to add there, Steve?
No, that should be it.
Okay. So I just want to make sure we're, make that distinction that, for rooftop homeowner systems, we have a flat, low, simple fee. The fee is much higher and requires some calculation on the ground-mounted solar projects that we have in town. Okay. With that, if you'd like to comment on this matter, please raise your hand. We'll ask that you go forward. State your name and address for the record, and please keep it to 5 minutes or less. Jim, come on up. No, Jim.
Oh. My name is Jim.
Yeah, but you're related to Frank Viola.
No.
James Rule, 168 Wooddale Drive, Boston Lake, but actually in Clifton Park. I'm also Executive Vice President of Friends of Clifton Park and informally speaking on their behalf tonight. We support not only the regulatory considerations you have gone through, but also this fee increase. I can't add much to it other than we wish a little more especially for the ground mounted, but we'll take what we can get right here and right now and see what happens later on. But thank you very much for your diligence on both counts, for the regulatory side and for the fee increase side. That's it. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I don't know what to say, Jim.
Don't know what to say since I'm being so nice.
Well, you're always nice.
Thank you. This is a step in the right direction, and I personally and friends in Clifton Park appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
It is a significant increase. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. On the ground mount.
It could be more significant.
Levels of degree. That's right. Anyone else that would like to speak on this matter? Okay. Any comments from the board at this time on the proposal? Okay. All right, I think Steve has given his piece, so thank you again. If you'd like a copy of what is being proposed, it is available in the clerk's office. So if anybody has any comments or ideas, you can always email us or give us a call here at Town Hall. All right, so those are our 3 public hearings. We do have a few resolutions for consideration. Teresa, if you could read through those, please.
A resolution adopting a local law amending chapter 182 of the town code to authorize the receiver of taxes to include informational inserts within annual tax bills. Whereas section 922 of the New York State real property tax law prescribes the information that municipal receivers of taxes may include inserts within the tax bill mailings each year. And whereas pursuant to municipal home rule law, Chapter 10, the town board may by local law authorize the inclusion of public information concerning payments, methods of payment, and pertinent details directly related to the payment of such taxes for general information purposes. And whereas on November 1st, 2021, the town board held a public hearing on a proposal to authorize the receiver of taxes to include information directly related to the tax bills and methods of payment of such tax bills in order to provide residents and property owners with up-to-date and accurate information to enable taxpayers to make tax payments conveniently each year. And whereas members of the public were provided an opportunity to speak in favor of or against the proposal, and whereas pursuant to New York State property real property tax law and municipal home rule law, the town board may authorize such informational inserts by local law. Now therefore be it resolved that local law local law number 7 of 2021, a local law amending chapter 182 of the town code is hereby adopted as attached, and be it further resolved, the town clerk files said local law with the New York State Department of Health, Department of State as required by law, and be it further resolved that this local law shall take effect immediately upon its adoption. A resolution reaffirming the town of Clifton Park's commitment to transparency and openness in the conduct of public meetings. Whereas under the New York State Open Meetings Law, often known as the Sunshine Law, it takes in the legislative declaration that it is essential to the maintenance of the democratic society that the public business be performed in an open and public manner, and that the citizens of this state be fully aware of and able to observe the performance of public officials and attend and listen to the deliberations and decision that go into making of the public policy. And whereas transparency and openness are important tenets of our democracy, and whereas on October 19, 2021, Governor Hochul signed into law legislation amending the New York State Public Officers Law in relation to making certain documents available for open meetings. And whereas the legislation was passed with overwhelming bipartisan support in both houses of the state legislature. And whereas the new legislation requires that any proposed resolution, law, rule, regulation, policy, or any amendment thereto that is scheduled to be the subject of discussion by a public body during an open meeting shall be made available upon request, therefore, to the extent practicable at least 24 hours prior to the meeting during which the records will be discussed. And whereas it is important for transparency and openness for the town, that the town follow not only the letter of the Open Meetings Law, but also the spirit with which it was written. And whereas during the COVID-19 pandemic, it was shown that the town has the technology available to disseminate information in an expedient, effective, and practicable manner to the public. And whereas members of the town board wished for the public to have ample opportunity to review proposed resolutions and ask for questions of their elected officials and representatives. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby directs the appropriate town departments to make available upon request and post to the town's website all relevant documents and resolutions at least 24 hours prior to the meeting during which the records will be discussed, and be it further resolved that this directive will go into effect on November 18th, 2021. A resolution accepting a quote for the removal and replacement of the roof shingles on the roof repair at 5 Locust Lane used by Buildings and Grounds Department. Whereas quotes were received by the Buildings and Grounds Department for repairs to a leaky roof at the 5 Locust Lane shop per the attached quote. Whereas the lowest conforming quote for the re-roofing services was submitted by 518 Roofing Company LLC, 3 Whip Circle, Albany, in an amount not to exceed $9,375. And whereas Dan Clemens, Director of Buildings, Parks, and Recreation, has recommended that 518 Roofing Company be authorized to proceed with the repairs. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board accepts the quote of 518 Roofing Company for removal and replacement of roof shingles at the 5 Locust Lane Repair Shop at a total cost not to exceed $9,375 as lowest responsive quote to be charged from General Fund Locust Lane Clubhouse Equipment. And be it further resolved that the comptroller is authorized to transfer $4,375 from General Fund Burning Bush Clubhouse Equipment to General Fund Locust Lane Clubhouse Equipment to cover the cost of the repairs. A resolution appointing John D. Simone and Max Luters individually to permanent statuses as building inspectors, whereas Max Luters of Clifton Park, New York, and John D. Simone of Fort Edward, New York, were provisionally appointed as building inspectors, and whereas Max Luters and John D. Simone each successfully passed the civil service exam for the position of building inspector and were certified as a permanent employee on October 14, 2021. Now therefore be it resolved that Max Luters, 704 Forest Lane, Clifton Park, and John D. Simone, 4 Birch Estate, Fort Edward, New York, are hereby appointed to permanent status as building inspectors for the town of Clifton Park per civil service certification as of November 1st, 2021. A resolution approving an agreement with Barton & Judas for engineering services required to remedy a collapsing culvert on Forest Drive. Whereas by resolution number 145 of 2021, Highway Superintendent Dan Bull was authorized to execute an agreement for engineering scoping services with Barton & Judas for a collapsing culvert under a portion of Forest Drive. And whereas scoping services have been completed, and whereas Superintendent Bull has recommended that Barton & Judas be hired at a cost not to exceed $39,610 to provide engineering and design services to develop plans and specifications for the repair to the culvert, as well as advertising and reviewing responses to a request for bids. Now therefore be it resolved that the highway superintendent is authorized to execute the attached agreement for engineering and design services associated with the Forest Drive culvert replacement to be paid no more than $39,610 from General Fund Drainage Repairs Engineering.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any questions on the resolutions? Okay, Teresa, if you could go through and read the headings, please.
Resolution number 247 of 2021, a resolution adopting a local law amending Chapter 182 of the Town Code to authorize the receiver of taxes to include informational inserts within annual property tax bills. So moved.
Second. By Mrs. Standard, second by Mr. Morelli. So again, want to thank Rose Zavala for bringing this forward. Appreciate it, and I think it's great information that people will benefit from. Any discussion on the matter? Okay, Teresa.
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 248 of 2021, a resolution adopting a local law amending Chapter 103 of the Town Code relative to permit and review fees for the building permits for solar energy installation systems equipment.
So,
Second.
moved by Ms. Morelli, second by Mrs. Standard. Any further discussion on this matter? Okay. Again, I want to thank everybody that worked on this, and this will close that process for now, at least, of analyzing all of our solar regulations. But as we know, the industry changes quite rapidly, and I'm sure we'll need to review our code again at some point in the future. Teresa?
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 249 of 2021, a resolution reaffirming the town of Clifton Park's commitment to transparency and openness in the conduct of public meetings. So moved. Second.
Moved by Mrs. Standard, second by Mrs. Flood. Mrs. Standard, did you want to?
Thank you. This is really basically just, again, a reaffirmation of our commitment to transparency here at the town of Clifton Park. As the resolution states, it has been signed into law. The public officers law has been changed to make certain amendments, and one of which is 24 hours for town business to be presented to the public. members of this board and residents on various occasions have asked for this change, and here it is now, it's official, so appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, the change that was made is recently signed by the governor. Agency records available to the public pursuant to Article 6 of this chapter, as well as any proposed resolution, law, rule, regulation, policy, or any amendment thereto that is scheduled to be the subject of discussion by a public body during an open meeting shall be made available upon request. Therefore, to the extent practicable, at least 24 hours prior to the meeting. Previously, it said as determined by the agency or the department. So that is the change that was made in the legislation, and that change was made twice. Because a little further down in the paragraph, that change was made again, crossed out as determined by the agency, and switched to at least 24 hours prior. So the town has been exceeded the regulations established by the open meeting laws in the past, and I'm sure we'll continue to do that. So appreciate you bringing that forward. Any other comments, questions? Okay, Teresa?
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Walowitz? Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
I just have one clarifying question. As a department head that receives the agenda, we usually receive the agendas around like 4:45, 5 o'clock, sometimes 5:15 before the meeting. So does that mean that the agendas are going to be coming earlier than that? Because I know like today, we didn't get the agenda. We didn't get a final agenda, but I guess the one that was sent last Friday or Thursday is the final agenda. Okay, so it's going to be coming out, the final agenda is on Thursday?
Thursday or Friday.
Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So typically,
Right,
just
so there's
so,
an answer.
just so people know, what Mr. Bull is referring to is typically the town board would receive our agenda with resolutions up for consideration the Thursday prior to our Monday meeting. And then a second agenda with some supporting documentation would be sent out on Fridays. However, this was not a final agenda. Resolutions were not finalized. It was always under draft form. The final agenda was then sent to us Mondays, typically just before 5 o'clock is when the town board would receive the final agenda with the resolutions up for consideration, which does not give us sufficient time to read any changes that may have been made. And there have been changes that have been made and presented to us last minute. And I don't think that's good governance. So yes, from now on, we should be receiving the final agendas either the Thursday or the Friday before our Monday meetings, according to this.
Sounds good.
Yeah, any material changes that were made to the agenda were information was sent to the board, which is very rare. And this, what we do need to do, as far as the department heads, is we'll put more onus on them from a timing standpoint. So that way, when there is an ongoing issue that we're working with that requires a slight amendment, which happens quite often, that matter will be kicked to the next meeting or the next month. So the department heads are going to have to be more proactive as far as that goes.
So I got another question about that. So Tom sent out an email a while back when we started trying to make the town board more available for everybody. Tom said that you can't turn in a resolution unless it goes through Tom, Gene, Phil, and Comptroller's office. I get that, I guess, but so we had to change it from turning it in on Wednesday at noon to Tuesday at noon. Is now Tuesday at noon changing?
It might. We
Okay.
might have to push it back into Monday. What this resolution does above and beyond, what this resolution asks for, requires is the backup documentation. The meeting law doesn't speak to that at all. So the contracts, the deeds, different road dedications, the legal descriptions, the resumes for tonight, anything to be submitted by the department heads will now need to be up with, the Thursday or Friday before. It also really doesn't take, the people sometimes take time off. People sometimes take Fridays off. So it's going to take a little, little moving things. Like you have today, a supplemental with Barton and Judas. The resolution requires all relevant documents. Does the prior scoping from Barton and Judas need to be up?
Who's the prior scope? The prior scoping was already passed in the resolution that's mentioned.
Right, but it's relevant to this resolution, isn't it?
Well, you've already seen it.
Well, okay, but it's relevant to today's action. So those types
So
of,
then why would you approve the resolution going in if it wasn't qualifying?
I'm just saying that the scope of what's needed to be in the packet the week before will be changed. It's
Okay,
changed.
so what now you're telling me is that I turned in a resolution that you didn't have the material for, and now you're telling me right now. So did you put it in is it not inadequately in terms of what we're saying you wanted in the first place?
No, I'm just saying that the scope the scope of the documentation that needs to be up changes, and that may push back the accumulation from the departments.
Okay, so I guess that changes this whole conversation. Why would you let my resolution go in if you didn't think there was enough information on it?
I did. I would have thought it was enough information. But this now asks for all of it to be posted together.
Okay, so like we're hiring 2 people today. Do we need like their birth certificates and that type of information? Do I need to get people's social security numbers ahead of time before I hire somebody?
Those are the types of things that we spend time redacting, stuff like that, social security information.
Well, the town board application doesn't have a section for social security number.
Right, and we redact that before it goes up.
But is that necessary information to have before a person is hired?
I don't know. That's a Mark question, but it's in there.
Well, if it's not information that's going to be made public, you don't need to have it. No.
Well, you said the backup materials for the town board, and the town board has to see the backup material. Therefore, wouldn't the town board have to see that if it's relative to the hiring?
The social security number? Is that part of their qualifications? Is that their qualification?
Well, I think
the
you
social
need to hire
security number.
You don't need to hire somebody with a social.
I don't need to know their social security number when I'm interviewing them and reviewing their application.
But that's information.
And when I'm interviewing
that's
them,
information.
I didn't ask either of these gentlemen what their social security was.
So
didn't ask them what their address was either.
So we have to have our documentation in right now by Tuesday, but now we don't know what type of information that we need to have. Is that what we're saying?
I would include all the information that you have and any past information regarding whatever you're submitting.
Okay, so no longer referring to a previous resolution that the town board has passed is adequate enough.
Probably not. No.
Okay, that's all I was asking.
So all the other information.
That's the type of work that we often do. We track some of that stuff down.
Right.
During that interim between the time that we get a resolution request and the time that the resolution is drafted and posted. I mean, we talk to Mark about budget lines. We talk to Mark about transfers, whether a capital budget project is needed. We research the history of a project. Some of them are very long. The DOT, federally funded, locally administered projects can take many steps over the course of years.
FEMA refunds take 3.5 years.
And we try to, detail out that pedigree so that a reader, a member of the public or anybody else can follow, the steps that the board and the departments have taken. All that stuff gets done between the time you submit or Dan Clemens or Steve Myers or John Scavo or Jen Viciani or Mark Hagan or Mount Kramer or the clerk's office oftentimes, has some things for us. We do a lot of that research and double, button up the pedigree, and that does take time.
So if there's a change in the standard operating procedures, what else department heads know?
Well,
Oh, obviously, yeah.
It's right in here.
Well, it's not, because I just asked and it was kind of.
Well, I think the only thing I think you might see is just pushing it back a day.
Okay.
That's what we'll probably do.
That's all I'm asking.
I think that was your first answer.
Yeah.
I have a question though, so when we get the original, like the first agenda for May, the draft, will that have the backup documents now, or is that still, you're still working on it until 24 hours before?
Well, 24 hours before, since we meet on Mondays, 24 hours before means the week before, for us. The draft agendas are Thursday. Yeah, no, I think the agendas are probably gonna be, that you're gonna have, I hope they're the finals. But,
But you could change something between Saturday and Sunday, as long as you come in and change it and send it out before 7 o'clock Sunday night.
yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of other permutations, I'm thinking there are lots of times with competitive bidding, you need to advertise something a certain number of days. We've had lots of times here where the bid openings have been on a Thursday, Friday, or Monday. So we'll hold a placeholder in here
In the agenda.
Right. And even sometimes in a draft resolution for the lowest competitive bid on a sealed bid basis. Sometimes it's to be done on RFP too. We're not gonna be able to do that anymore. We're gonna have to have everything buttoned up the week before. So, and therefore the projects will get delayed. They'll be just the following week, which,
Or a month.
or a month, depending on the schedule.
Yeah.
Well, we do meet 3 times a month, so, I mean, there's really not gonna be that much of a delay.
Right, well, sometimes there's with the 5 Monday months, you can get a 3-week break, and that can cause some hardship depending on the project.
There could be, but we're doing the public's business and we need to be transparent and we need to have all the information before these things are put up for consideration. And the public needs to have the information before these things are put up for consideration. As it stands today, public does not have enough time to consider these resolutions and look through everything and understand the documentation. 5 o'clock on a Monday is not sufficient time for anyone.
Well, the full resolutions have been up since in the week before, since June. The full resolutions, the text of all the resolutions have been posted since June.
On September 20th, 2021, we were presented with a resolution, an unwritten resolution that was not presented to us in writing, was not presented to the public. This resolution will also prevent that from happening in the future. We have to be presented with written resolutions before consideration. The public must have written resolutions presented to them before we consider it so that they can comment on those things. Thank you.
Well, that was something that I brought forward and received a second, and that was following a discussion that was part of multiple discussions about how we might spend the Recovery Act funds from the federal government.
You made the second. You put it up for, you entertained a motion, you made the second on that.
I
But
can
again,
second or move around.
we had nothing in
at any
writing.
time.
And you were asking us to spend over $1 million, and we did not have any details. We did not know the total amount that we were going to be spending. We did not know the exact projects that we were, no matter how many discussions, and that was only, I think, the second discussion that we've had in public. I mean, I don't want to, beat this unwritten resolution to a pulp, but the whole point of this resolution and transparency is to make sure that that doesn't happen again, and that we have ample time, and that the public has ample time to consider the business that we are conducting on their behalf.
Well, the specifics that were laid out in that motion that received a second and became a resolution, I did detail what the specifics were following the discussion, where I thought there was consensus on spending on those specific items. Since that meeting, we have approved spending in those areas, and which I think was a great decision by the board. And at this point, we'll move forward.
I just don't know of any governing body that has ever approved something without it being in writing, that's all. So, But we did, we got it in writing. We had our projects listed out. This is the ARPA funds, the federal, from the federal government has provided for COVID relief. And we have been very careful with how we are going to invest that money back into the community for projects that might have been stalled due to the COVID pandemic. And we did finalize that. This board did pass over $1 million of these ARPA funds to spend on infrastructure projects. Councilman Morelli and I are still working on the nonprofit application to put back into the community through charitable organizations, and that was a good thing. But we approved that with a written resolution and details in front of us, and that is how business should be done.
Right. So that was $1,060,000, supporting the nonprofits in the community, as well as a few different areas of infrastructure. So I think those very good investments. All right. Any further discussion?
Tom, just so I'm clear, this is already signed into law, right? We're just reaffirming state law, correct? We're not doing anything different.
We're doing, so we're the statute requires the resolution to be posted 24 hours before. The resolution requires all the backup to be posted with it.
Okay.
You're talking about the resolution that we're considering now.
Right.
So to answer, just to make sure, we're clear with Councilman Morelli, what the governor just signed with that change that I detailed prior, that is to have the resolutions that would be under consideration as part of an agenda up 24 hours before the meeting.
Right.
The resolution before us, which has nothing to do with the state law that was amended, resolution before us adds another layer with the backup.
Right.
Right. So I think to answer your question, Councilman Morelli, what the state passed would be the resolutions 24 hours ahead of time, ahead of the meeting, where those items would be discussed.
And the only point I was making was that other than the ARPA discussion, that the agenda items have been posted in full text, the resolutions the week before since June. So we were way ahead of the state statute. We always have been. We also have a newsletter feature where folks can get alerts to have an email alert on items that are of interest in the streaming,
Including agendas.
Right.
So this resolution holds us to an even higher standard.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. Teresa.
Resolution number 250 of 2021, a resolution accepting a quote for the removal and replacement of the roof shingles on the repair shop at 5 Locust Lane used by Buildings and Grounds Department. Yes, you do.
Yeah, you already voted on it.
So sorry about that.
We have a motion,
Second.
moved by Ms. Wallace, second by Mrs. Standard. Mr. Clemens.
So this building is over at Locust Lane, next door to the pool. It's our building maintenance shop. We have a lot of wood tools and things in there. We're going to make our signs in there. And it's a tough resolution because the shingles are worn out and it's leaking in there. And I'm the one who put the shingles on that roof the last time, so I think I've been here for too many years. I've outlasted the shingles.
Oh, you're not that old.
No, I'm getting there. But in there, and when we got up, started poking around at it, these things are about 4 years past what they're recommended by the manufacturer, so they're dried out, brittle. So it's time to get them removed and have a new roof put on.
Let's get it done. Okay. Are you doing it this time?
No, sir.
It doesn't look to me you are.
No, sir. We're
All right.
going to have 518.
It looks like 518 Roofing Company. That was a little bitter. So we did have a few bids. Low bid was 518 Roofing Company LLC. Okay. Any discussion, questions for Dan? Okay, Teresa?
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Stander?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 251 of 2021, a resolution appointing John D. Simone and Max Luters individually to permanent status as building inspectors.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Wallowitz, second by Mr. Morelli. So, it's been a little bit of a process, taking some time. Certainly required a great deal of investment of time and effort by both of you to get to this point. But I do want to congratulate both of you on behalf of the town board. Mr. Myers, is there anything you'd like to say about these two gentlemen?
They're coming along very well. You know, they do a lot of stuff independently already. And passing the test was really the last issue. They both went through the all the state training classes fine. So glad to have them. I'm sure I'm going to keep them busy for the next few years.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. But they're learning quite a bit over the last year or so, and so we're very pleased you made it to this point. So congratulations. Okay, Teresa.
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Stander?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 256 of 2021, a resolution approving an agreement with Barton & Lejunas for engineering services required to remedy a collapsing culvert on Forest Drive. So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Standard, second by Mrs. Flood. This is a Forest Drive issue. Is this this is the area where it kind of goes down and then goes back up again? That part of the road?
Yes. So this is the outlet of the old Round Lake Reservoir, and it used to be a big old lake back in the day. And then Mr. Van Patten came in and bought up all the land and started making houses. So when he did that, he choked off the reservoir in a few spots, built some culverts, and over the past 20 years, some of those culverts have been failing. We had a really big one back in the late 2000s on Wooddale, a lot of people might remember. Look at you, Jim. So this one, we're hoping to kind of nip in the bud. There's still water going through the culvert. There's still some water's getting through, but because of the rain that we've had, it's not draining fully. So working with Barton, they've been very, very good at getting us permits through DEC and Army Corps of Engineers. This is a certified trout stream, so we have to come up with a project that is safe for the fishes and to try and create a nice natural environment for them when it's all said and done. Another is that they do, they prefer doing boring instead of open excavation. Now the difference between boring and open excavation, you know, it's building a 100-foot wide hole, 40 feet deep. We're instead taking a pipe and pushing it through the ground and then cutting off each end and letting the stream travel through a new way. Then the old culvert is retired by putting through flowable fill, and then the creek in just that small little area works its way through. So that's what we're hoping for. We did a scope of 2 projects, the open excavate and the boring, just in case. But the real good news is with these boring projects, as they become, actually I think they're rather exciting, but as they become more relevant and more numerous across the state, there's a lot more companies willing to do it, and they're willing to fight for a better bid number for us. So it's gotten a lot cheaper in recent years. So let's hoping to avoid the Wooddale issue like we did in 2005, or we didn't in 2005, and attack this the right way. And I just want to say thank you, Tom, because Tom, you said it was just the resolution that needs to be in. So we did that. We're all set. We're there. That's all I was looking for.
All right, very good. Any discussion? Okay, Teresa.
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Stander?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes. All right, that's it for resolutions. Any other business to come before the board this evening? Okay, we'll go to public privilege. If you'd like to speak on a town matter, please raise your hand. We'll ask that you come forward. State your name and address for the record, and please keep it to 5 minutes or less. Mr. Viola, how are you?
Very good, how are you?
We'll have you come first. You had your hand up first.
Okay, yes, I did. Oh, you do?
She needs one more than anything. She's the keeper of the records.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yep,
good.
yep,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yep, thank you.
Should I give one of this as well, since this is an area that's.
I can make a copy for you.
Actually, Steve Myers is our stormwater.
Oh.
Yeah, so he and Scott Reese work together, and so you can give one to Mr. Myers.
I have one more. Ooh, I get Mr. Myers.
There you are. I was just putting my file, and I can show it, I said, you'll fix this, I'm not taking it over.
You're well organized, they won't be.
I know, I hate to say yes to you up front, because it's gonna make sure we treat everybody the same, but
Okay,
go right ahead.
well then, let me, not dawdle then. First of all, thank you very much for this opportunity to address you. You may recall that I met with you previously on August 16th, at which time I was asking for clarification on behalf of the people in my development about what would be happening, what were the town's plans for the parcel of land at the northern end of Windover Farms. And you can see the first 2 pages of this document indicate the letter that I sent to all the residents of the development, as well as residents of contiguous properties around the development that would be interested. Everyone was very appreciative of the information you provided, especially the information in the orchestration of meetings, follow-up meetings by the supervisor. So thank you very much for that. On the second page of that document, you'll see highlighted in yellow another issue that I didn't bring to your attention at that point in time. This is speaking to a flooding issue in the area, and it was caused by extremely poor percolation due to clay soil, exacerbated by the way in which Marini Homes excavated the properties. The next page in there has on tableau, a timeline, if you will. You can see that this is something that has been festering for 18 months now and still is not fully resolved. So on August 18th, in the green tab in your packet, I filed a second investigation request form. The second page is again highlighting it, describing what the situation is with the flooding. So you're questioning yourself, what does this flooding look like? Look at the first page with the pink tab. This is the helicopter look going down at it. You'll note that there are 25 homes in this development, first of all. On the left side of it, you'll see in silver, that's the part that Marini excavated and put a gully in there that didn't exist before, so that the properties at the northern end, around 16 and 18, are high, and it gets progressively lower. So when it rains hard, given poor percolation, the water flows like a river, literally, down to the last 3 parcels in particular, 2, 4, and 6. This, by the way, this map was provided by Marini Builders. It was not a map that I developed. Let's take another look at it. This is what the flooding looks like according to 3 parcels. This is number 2, 4, and 6. The source of this, Mr. Reese, I saw this on his computer, and I asked for a copy of this. This situation is dangerous. When I was mowing the lawn, 3 times at least my lawnmower got stuck in there. I had to get a car to help pull it out. That's how bad the mud is there. There's a proliferation of mosquitoes going on right there. You can't use that last third of backyards because of flooding, and it's affecting probably also the property values. This doesn't affect only backyards, but it affects the road system as well. Hence, my talking about not allowing the dedication of the road system by the town. So the third picture that you'll see in your packet is looking at the road. In order to stop the erosion going all the way across the road, which it did at one time, Morini built a berm there out of gravel. Because the first time he did it out of dirt, the force of the water coming down was so strong, it blew up, not only onto the road, but across to the other side of the road. This again is dangerous. It ices over in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it's probably going to affect the longevity of the road. I received almost no updates from Mr. Reese over the times. The only times I received updates basically is when I came in and asked for updates. So on the 25th of October, I went in and asked for an update. At that time, what he said is, Morini is very interested in dedicating the road system in Wendover Farms to the town so they don't have to be responsible for it during the next winter. I expressed my umbrage about that and said I was going to be contacting and doing this presentation here tonight. Interestingly, I received updates from him the next 3 consecutive days. The first update, first of all, in this one, this is a form coming out from town of Clifton Park to Morini, telling them to submit their materials so that the dedication materials can take place. Now, the second update that I got from Mr. Reese, he indicated after talking to the director of planning and the highway superintendent that the town will not entertain any dedications after October 1st. I looked through the code. I could not find October 1st anywhere about anything. He told the same thing to my wife on a separate day, providing an update. So what I did find, looking at the code myself, this board can dedicate road systems starting with your first meeting in May and ending with your first meeting in December. Going on from there, you'll see the checklist that is expected that Morini would complete within 4 days' time. If you take out the weekends and mailing time, what Clifton Park was saying, you have 4 days to complete this entire checklist. And interestingly, on the next day, on 9/21, next page in your packet, there was an inspection done. I don't know if that was constituting the final inspection or not. But Mr. Reese said, oh, the dedication can go forward because the developer, by and large, met the 80% occupancy rate. I submit he did not. If you look at the next page, this is a Morini document. It says there are 25 homes in development. Right now, there are still 7 homes that are either fallow land, a foundation, or just some plywood going up on the wall.
So not to interrupt you, sir, I just wanted, I think I understand the basics of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
One thing when you said this was not there before, are you?
Not there what?
Well, I think you were referring to the swale. Is that what you were referring to? That it wasn't there before?
That's cool. There. What he did is in the backyards, he had first put in a gigantic berm, not asking any neighbor for it. People got upset by that, and every neighbor asked for it to be removed. So instead of removing it, he reduced it. When we looked at that
I'm looking at the area where it's
that was done by Morini.
Yeah, right.
That was flat land before Morini excavated it.
Okay, so that's the part that wasn't there before.
Exactly.
So it was flat.
Yep.
And then that was excavated. About when was that excavated?
Before the house was being built.
Oh, it was. Oh, okay. So it was some time ago.
It was some time ago, yes.
Okay.
But again, the last time that Mr. Reese contacted us, he said, well, again, when he spoke to the highway superintendent, he indicated that no approvals for dedications will take place after October 1st. Morini will have to wait until the spring. I don't see the basis for saying that. And if you look at the last page in the document, which is dated October 22nd from Mr. Reese, he's saying he's contemplating 5 different developments for road dedications. And that's almost at the end of October. And he just told me that you don't do dedications after October 1. So again, I'm just incredulous. You helped me out in a fairway the last time I was here.
Sure.
So I'm back for more. And what I'm asking you is, do not accept any request to dedicate the roads to sign them over from Marini to the town. If you want to contact me, that's why my phone number is on the top. Feel free to call anytime.
Well, we do not accept dedication until all the items that are supposed to be either installed, fixed, implemented, whatever it might be, until all of that is done. So I don't know exactly what stage this is in as far as if it's ready for acceptance or not, but was that?
I haven't seen anything from that.
No.
Nothing's coming.
No, it's not close to coming in. I mean, I haven't seen any paperwork on it.
My purpose in coming here tonight is to be
Yeah, you
proactive
just want to make
and
sure.
timely, not to come 1 or 2 weeks after the materials have been submitted and then be told, gee, the opportunity for you to express your concerns is passed.
Right. No, that's
Can I make a comment,
a good
Mr.
move,
Morrow,
but
to clarify something?
as
the highway superintendent was referred to
important.
several
Can
times.
I just hold on?
I have an answer.
Just hold on.
I have an answer for him. I have an answer.
So,
Okay,
so I do appreciate you coming. I know Scott had said that he had been out there on multiple occasions. Especially in a year like this one, we have, we have reoccurring issues that he keeps an eye on in different areas of the town. When we have a year like this where it's this wet, we have a lot more of those issues.
But this has been going on for 18 months at this point.
Yeah,
and
right.
to his credit, he had probably 20 pictures from different days of flooding. So he's got all the documentation that he needs. He also said that the town engineers and Marini are going to get together in the next 2 weeks or so to come up with a remediation plan. I hope that happens. And I hope I never have to come back again. But I was told that before. That's what I'm saying. I believe when he says it, he means it. But it doesn't always come to fruition. So that's why I'm here.
Okay. All right. So I will follow up with Scott tomorrow, and we'll make sure that the process moves forward. What's this question about?
So Mr. Viola was asking.
Well, I have a question. So
I'm trying to answer the guy's question.
So what is the question about the October 1st versus December 1st dedication? So the code says December 1st.
Right. So we tell all the developers that want to get their roads turned over, because as the highway superintendent, once the road's turned over, we have to take care of it no matter what. Like back in the early 2000s, the town board accepted a development that was completely undersized, underfunded. I'm going to go back to Blue Jay Way. Blue Jay Way was accepted, and it was horrible. And we just finally finished taking care of that. So that's what we've got to try to make sure, is that the taxpayers at Clifton Park aren't taking over something like that. That's why we put pressure on the builders. Now, in the middle of November, always after the first snow, all the developers are screaming and yelling, you got to take this road over, you got to take this road over, you got to take this road over. And I always look at them and I say, sorry, you got to plan on October 1st. Make sure you get all your ducks in a row on October 1st, because if you don't have it in your ducks in a row on October 1st, it's going to be real difficult to get all your paperwork into all the departments that have to be playing in on this. So they're in this rush right now so that they don't have to pay contractors to come in and clean the development.
With due respect, though, if I were Marini, looking at that letter that was sent to me on September 20th, saying get this checklist into us, it says nothing about an October 1st deadline for that. Apparently, Mr. Reese didn't know about it because he didn't know about it until he called me with the second or third update.
Yeah, we always tell them and say, hey,
he didn't know about it because he was preparing as of October 25th for Marini to do the dedication of land.
So we still.
That's why I'm here tonight.
Yeah, so we still have time to do it. But I'll tell you the better part, the thing that I always do. I didn't get a copy of what you have tonight, but I'd like to have one. When I go into a developer and they want me to take over the roads, emails, letters, this presentation that you're giving, I hand it over to them and I say, look at this. This is what I got. If this isn't taken care of, I can't take your road. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I can't give a positive recommendation to the town board to take your road.
Okay. But you also said there is still time. I mean, it also says right now.
in this situation, if you handed me the material
Yeah.
and your builder called me and said, hey, I want to dedicate the roads, I would scan that thing in and I'd send it over to him and I'd say, well, what's up with this? Why isn't this taken care of? And if it's not taken care of, I send it to the town board saying, no, I don't believe that the roads are ready to take over.
The way that Mr. Reese presented your information to him is, it's dead in the water for Marini for this year. There's nothing that they can do to get it approved. They have to wait until spring of '22.
Most likely it probably
That's
is.
different than what you just said.
Because then if you got, look at all the remediation work they have to do. We have some things that have been, that we've gone out this fall that want to be dedicated. And we had a checklist they still haven't touched since last year. So I said, sorry, if your checklist isn't done, we can't take it over.
I don't know about the status of the checklist because I didn't see it.
Right.
However, I was given a copy of the checklist in its form. It says nothing about flooding and the things that I was bringing to your attention here tonight. So even if everything on that list was checked off, I would still have my issue, and you would have the issue with the flooding coming so down the road
So
that would go clear across the road, which Scott said the town was unaware of.
if you hand it to me,
Yeah.
I can hand it over to the developer and say, if you want me to give you a positive recommendation, you gotta fix this issue.
Okay,
That sound good?
I'll give it to you.
Okay, perfect.
I can copy this.
Great.
Yeah, you
Wonderful.
can have mine.
Okay.
Here, you can take it right now.
Yeah.
We'll follow up with that tomorrow and,
Anytime
sure that's
a
in process.
developer asks me to take over a
Thank
road,
you.
anytime, this goes for anybody, anytime the public wants to reach out, let me know.
Anyone
I
else
can say,
that would like to speak tonight? Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Second by Ms. Morello.
Councilwoman Flood? Yes. Councilwoman Sanders?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ballard? Yes. Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
See you then.